All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about a pretty radical way to think about money and really about your whole life. And this idea comes from a guy who you think would know a thing or two about money, a hedge fund manager named Bill Perkins. He asked this one kind of startling question. What if the whole point isn't to die rich, but to aim for dying with zero? I mean, for most of us, this is the goal, right? The big number, that $1 million plus net worth. It's the financial finish line we're all taught to run towards. Just pile up as much as you can, end the game with the highest score possible in your bank account. And that big number, well, that's supposed to be the ultimate sign that you've had a successful life. But what if that's the completely wrong goal? What if the real number, the one that proves you squeezed every last drop out of life, is actually zero? Yeah, I know, it sounds totally nuts, completely counterintuitive. But stick with me, because the logic behind it might just change the way you see, well, everything. So this whole idea, it really forces us to stop and question a huge assumption we all just kind of accept about money and life. And it really makes you ask yourself, wait a minute, are we even playing the right game here? We're basically trained from day one to see our wealth as some kind of final scorecard. The person with the biggest pile of cash at the end wins. But this is what Bill Perkins calls the net worth myth, and he argues it misses the entire point of living. There are no bonus points for money you worked your whole life for but never actually got around to using. And think about where this quote is coming from. This isn't some philosopher living on a mountaintop. This is Bill Perkins, a guy who made hundreds of millions of dollars as a hedge fund manager. He absolutely mastered the money game. And his conclusion after all that? Most of us are playing it completely, totally wrong. Okay, so let's dive into the core rule here, the one that really changes everything. And it's not about being wasteful or reckless. It's actually about a whole new kind of efficiency. The efficiency of turning your financial wealth into actual real-life experiences. Perkins has this really powerful way of reframing what money even is. He says it's not just paper or numbers on a screen, it's life energy. Think about that. Every single dollar you have represents a piece of your life, your precious, finite time that you traded to get it. So if you don't spend it, you basically worked for free. You're just leaving that life energy sitting on the table completely unused. And this isn't just a theory. You can see this exact problem playing out in the real world. The data is pretty wild. It shows that the median net worth for older Americans keeps going up, even when they're in their 70s and 80s. We're literally hoarding money at the exact moment our physical ability to enjoy it is dropping off a cliff. It makes no sense. So this leads to a really powerful shift in how we think about investing. What if the best investments you could ever make aren't in the stock market at all, but in something else entirely? This is where Perkins introduces this awesome concept he calls the memory dividend. Now, a financial dividend from a stock, that's just more money, right? But a memory dividend, that's the joy you get over and over again from an experience you had in the past. It's an asset that literally pays you back in happiness for the rest of your life. And unlike a car or TV, its value actually goes up over time. Okay, let's make this super concrete. Think about backpacking through Europe when you're 20. It's cheap, yeah, you're staying in hostels, but you've got all the energy in the world. That one trip can pay you memory dividends for the next 60 years. You'll be telling those stories forever. Now, flash forward, that same person at 70 goes on a fancy luxury cruise. It costs a fortune, they have way less energy to enjoy it, and here's the key part, they only have maybe 5 or 10 years to even remember it. The return on investment is just totally different. So the point is crystal clear. The return on your investment in experiences is off the charts when you have them early. Yeah, the initial cost might feel like a lot when you're young and don't have much money, but the lifetime payout in pure joy, in stories, in memories, it's absolutely enormous. So, okay, how do we actually do this? How do we put it into practice? Well, it all starts by picturing our lives as these 3 overlapping, kind of competing timelines. So look, your life is basically this constant race between 3 things: your health, your wealth, and your time. When you're young, your health curve is way up here, but your wealth curve is way down there. Then, as you get older, your wealth starts to climb, but your health starts that inevitable slide downwards. That sweet spot, that perfect window for maximum enjoyment, it's somewhere in the middle. And the real tragedy? For most people, their wealth doesn't peak until their health has already taken a nosedive, and they just can't enjoy it anymore. And this visual just forces you to ask yourself a really critical question. Are you just on the default path, waiting for that wealth curve to hit its peak? Because let's be honest, by the time it gets there, what good is all that money if your health, the one thing you absolutely need to spend it on, has completely bottomed out? So what does this actually look like in practice, to live by this die with zero philosophy? How different is it from the script that, let's face it, most of us are following? Okay, let's put these 2 ways of life side by side. The standard path is all about saving out of this vague fear of running out. The die with zero path? It's about saving deliberately for amazing experiences. The standard path gives money to your kids when they're 60 and already well off. This new path says, give it to them when they're 30, and it can literally change their entire life. It's about putting your health before that high-stress job and choosing to build a portfolio of experiences instead of just a portfolio of assets. And look, I have to be super clear about this. This is not a free pass to be reckless. It's not about racking up a mountain of credit card debt. It's actually the complete opposite. It's about being incredibly deliberate, almost scientific with your planning to make sure not one single drop of your precious life energy goes to waste. So, if you want to try this, it really comes down to 4 key mindset shifts. First, get off autopilot saving. Stop just throwing money into a 401k without a plan. You got to get real and actually calculate what you'll need. Second, start investing in experiences, especially early on, to max out those amazing memory dividends we talked about. Third, and this is a big one, you have to treat your health like it's the most important currency you have, because it is. It's what lets you spend your money. And finally, number 4, give your money to your kids or to causes you love while you're still around to see the incredible impact it can have. And all of this, it really leaves us with one final big question you have to ask yourself. When you look at your life, your time, your money, everything, are you actually spending your life energy? Or are you just saving it up for a someday that might not ever come?